Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Andrew Wells with Godly Love Christian Fellowship, coming to you with a live real quick. I want to talk to you today about something I mentioned on Instagram. Obedience is better. 1 Corinthians 15:22-23 reads, So Samuel said, Has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he also has rejected you from being king. This was the judge and prophet Samuel speaking to Saul, the first king of the first monarchy of Israel. At this point, Saul had already disobeyed God two critical times. The first time he disobeyed God, he was supposed to enact the Lord's judgment on the Amalekites for their troubling Israel in their journey to the promised land. So the time had come to enact the Lord's judgment upon the Amalekites. The instrument of that judgment was Saul. Saul was supposed to annihilate them, but he didn't do it. The second time came for Saul at Gilgal. They were at war with the Philistines, and in this particular struggle, he was outnumbered probably 6 or 7 times to 1. He was instructed by Samuel, the man of God, to wait 7 days for Samuel to return. Samuel would execute a sacrifice that would usher in the Lord's victory over the Philistines through Israel. So he was supposed to wait on Samuel to do the sacrifice. He didn't do it. He saw that his men were running away, and he saw the fear in everyone's eyes, probably mirrored his own fear, and he decided to take it upon himself to do the sacrifice. He ran up on Samuel, proud of this, saying, "Oh, don't worry. We got a chance to get the sacrifices done." And you're hearing the tail end, I guess, of Samuel's response overall to that, because he's like, "Man, what are you doing?" So it's interesting because the Bible doesn't declare that Saul did the sacrifice incorrectly. It doesn't say anything about him missing any steps, right? And he wanted his exertion of time and effort to be well thought of, well received. But through Samuel, Saul saw that God was not pleased. Obedience is better. This reminds me of a story from my growing up. So I remember I was probably 10 or 11, and my mom bought me 5 posters from Kmart. It blew my mind because she never bought that kind of stuff for me, though I asked numerous times. And the posters that she got me had me even more like geeked. I was like, what? She got me the Apollonia poster, which you have to be a child of the 80s to understand that. Also had a poster of Morris Day and the Time, Prince in the from the Doves Cry video, and then also I had a poster of LA Dream Team, and I want to say the other one was New Edition, I think. So I had these 5 posters, and I was going to put them on my wall with my album covers and things like that. Well, weeks went by, unfortunately, probably months, and I had not put those posters up on my wall. So my mom was upset because she was like, I bought you these posters because you was fussing with me and I put them, but you haven't put them up on the wall. What's going on? So she did all the old school threats, like, you're going to come home, you're going to find out these posters aren't here. I'm going to put them in the trash. She told me my room looked like Who Shot John. And, she started using John Brown and all this kind of stuff. I was like, okay, I don't know. And so time went on. Well, I had another chore that I was supposed to do on Saturday morning, And that chore was to fold the clothes that were washed and put them away in my drawer. And so I ain't do that either because I was disobedient. And, a few days had gone by and we got to Saturday. So I remember my homies called to me up through my window. They was like, hey, man, we about to go, man. Let's go, man. Let's go. Go get your bike, man. We about to go. So I remember I called out to the window to him and I was like, hey, man, I'll be right down. Don't even worry about it. I'm coming. And so as soon as I hit the door to go out of my room to get my bike off the balcony, my mom stopped me right there. She was like, you are going nowhere. And I was like, man, what? I said, what I do? What I do? And she pointed to the clothes, and it was nothing I could say. I was like, oh, man. So I sat down in my bed, and I was upset. Man, I really don't know what happened after being upset about not being able to go. I do remember going to my window, and how we had to do when we was younger. I was like, man, I can't go, man. Mom tripping. I can't go. And so I sat back down on the bed, and I was like, man, I was upset. But I do remember that I was upset, but I don't remember why I didn't actually fold the clothes and put them away. I don't know what happened. And I was disobedient. And so I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm going to put these posters up. So I spent my afternoon putting these posters up. My mom at that time was working on her teacher certification in California, and she was working on base. And so she had to work Saturdays. And so when she got home, she came home, man, and saw that the clothes were not folded, clothes were not put away. But, I had these posters up on the wall. So she saw what I didn't do, and she went in. I mean, she went off. She got on my head like white on rice, was on my head. Like, what are you doing? And I wish I would have had a better response after she got done chewing me out and getting on my head. But all I remember saying was, but Mama, put the posters on the wall. She went off again and was like, boy. And so I got on restriction, I had to miss a few weekends here and there, a few evenings, man. And so what was interesting about that is when I read this scripture again, I thought about my situation and I thought about Saul. I was supposed to fold clothes and put them away in my drawer. But here I am doing something that I wanted to do that was something I should have done way back when, that she wasn't even worried about me doing. So I took it upon myself to do something that now was going to make me happy. And I wanted her to recognize that and not be so upset about what she actually told me to do. And so when I think about Saul's situation, I think he fell into that. He's up here making the sacrifice, but that wasn't what he was supposed to do. You were supposed to kill the king of Agag, annihilate the Amalekites, and wait on Saul in this other situation. He was supposed to wait on Saul so that he could make this sacrifice. So he didn't do any of that, but he went out of his way to do this sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Samuel told him, he said, burnt offerings over the Lord's obedience? Come on. So let's us pledge not to be like me and not to be like Saul, where we are doing self-serving and self-seeking endeavors, investing our time, our finances, our resources and energy, expecting God to then co-sign that and say, oh, well, this is a great thing you did, so I'm going to prefer this over my what I want you to obey. God is not going to do that. He didn't do it then. He's not going to do it now. Please make sure you find yourself obeying God. I've made all these mistakes that relate to this story. And what I've come to is, I would rather struggle with what God has told me to do and then do it than to go and fill up my time and give away my time and resources to something that pleases me, wanting to please God, and God be like, nah, I ain't having it. So 1 Samuel 15, 22 to 23, obedience is better. Peace.